For more than 4 decades, Denzel Washington has occupied a rare space in Hollywood, where presence feels less like performance and more like belief. In an industry driven by spectacle, speed, and constant reinvention, he has moved deliberately, guided by discipline rather than impulse. His power has never relied on excess or noise, but on restraint, intention, and moral clarity. Whether portraying historical figures, conflicted leaders, or ordinary men facing extraordinary choices, he brings gravity that feels earned rather than displayed. Behind the awards and reverence is a man who learned early that character is not inherited, but forged through choice, failure, and perseverance. His journey is not a story of overnight success or effortless greatness, but of patience, structure, and accountability. Denzel's life reminds us that longevity is built not on applause, but on principles practiced consistently, even when no one is watching. Growing up, between faith and discipline, Denzel Hayes Washington Jr. was born on December 28, 1954 in Mount Vernon, New York, a working-class community shaped by routine and resilience. His childhood home was defined by order rather than warmth, where discipline carried more weight than expression. His mother, Lennis, worked tirelessly as a beautician, her strength evident in long hours and quiet sacrifice. His father, Reverend Denzel Washington Sr., was a Pentecostal minister whose life revolved around scripture, responsibility, and structure. Love existed, but it was rarely verbalized. Faith was practiced, not debated. Expectations were clear, and emotional distance was accepted as normal. This environment taught Denzel self-control early, but it also planted questions about connection and belonging. He learned how to stand firm before learning how to open up, a pattern that would later shape both his strengths and his internal struggles. When stability turned to absence. As Denzel entered adolescence, the structure of his home quietly fractured. His parents' marriage ended in divorce, not through explosive conflict, but through gradual separation. He remained with his mother while his father drifted from daily life, leaving behind silence rather than closure. The absence did not break him, but it reshaped him. Years later, Denzel would reflect that some wounds arrive slowly, settling into posture and habit rather than memory. Without a constant male presence, he began searching for direction beyond the home. That search did not come from rebellion, but from uncertainty. He was not angry, he was unanchored. The discipline remained, but the guidance felt incomplete. This emotional gap became both a vulnerability and a motivator, pushing him toward environments that offered belonging, even when those spaces carried risk disguised as loyalty. Standing near the edge. Mount Vernon in the late 1960s and early 1970s offered young men clear choices, though they rarely felt clear in the moment. For Denzel, the pull of peers promised connection and identity, but often led toward trouble. He has spoken honestly about this period, noting that many friends from those years later lost decades of their lives to incarceration. The difference between their paths and his was not talent or intelligence. It was intervention. His mother recognized the danger forming quietly and made a decision that felt harsh at the time but proved life-saving. She sent him away, choosing long-term survival over short-term comfort. That moment marked a turning point. Denzel did not escape risk through luck, but through someone willing to act decisively. It was the first major lesson that love does not always arrive gently, and that protection sometimes feels like distance. Discipline that changed everything. At 14, Denzel was sent to a military academy in New Windsor, New York. It felt like exile. The days were rigid, the nights silent, and the rules unyielding. Fear arrived quickly, followed by loneliness. Yet within that structure, discipline stopped being punishment and became stability. The routines forced focus. Accountability replaced drift. Responsibility became non-negotiable. Over time, the habits he formed reshaped his identity. He learned to command himself before attempting to command circumstances. Years later, Denzel would say without hesitation that his mother saved his life, not with softness, but with courage. Military school did not erase pain, but it redirected it into purpose. When he returned home, the streets no longer held the same power. The discipline remained, forming the backbone of a man who would later carry authority without ever needing to raise his voice. Searching for direction, not glory. In the early 1970s, Denzel enrolled at Fordham University without a clear dream, but with determination to move forward. Life there was demanding rather than inspiring. Winters were harsh, money scarce, and uncertainty constant. He worked whatever jobs he could find, cleaning, hauling, and enduring long days simply to stay enrolled. Hunger was not metaphorical, it was real. Purpose felt distant. He has often said that during this time, he was not chasing passion, but survival. Acting was not yet a goal, stability was. It was during a summer job as a YMCA counselor that everything shifted. Asked to fill in during a talent show, he performed without ambition, only instinct. When someone told him afterward that he was meant to act, the words unsettled him. They felt less like praise and more like recognition, opening a door he could no longer ignore. Paying the price without compromise, Denzel pursued acting seriously, earning a scholarship to the American Conservatory Theater before returning to New York with little more than determination. The reality was harsh. He auditioned constantly, faced rejection daily, and lived without comfort or certainty. Opportunities came, but not all aligned with his values. Some roles offered exposure at the cost of dignity. Guided by advice from Sidney Poitier, he learned that early compromises shape a career's soul. He walked away when necessary, choosing integrity over speed. When recognition finally arrived through films like Glory and Malcolm X, it felt earned rather than borrowed. His performances carried depth shaped by lived experience, discipline, and restraint. Success sharpened rather than softened him. He learned that excellence demands sacrifice, but that sacrifice should never require surrendering self-respect. His rise was steady, deliberate, and anchored in choices made when no one was watching. Faith, family, and quiet anchors. Throughout fame, faith remained Denzel's private compass, not performative but practiced. Prayer structured his mornings, discipline shaped his decisions. In 1977, he met Pauletta Pearson, whose calm grounded him long before success complicated life. Their marriage, built away from spectacle, endured through shared belief and honesty. As his career demanded absence, she carried the center of home. He has never denied that truth. Fatherhood became his opportunity to break cycles, offering presence where he once felt distance. Losses followed, friends, mentors, and eventually his father, without closure. Grief arrived quietly, reshaping perspective rather than exploding outward. Over time, forgiveness replaced resentment, and understanding replaced judgment. These experiences deepened his commitment to humility, generosity, and mentorship. Supporting younger artists became part of his legacy, not for recognition, but responsibility. Faith, family, and discipline became the anchors fame could never replace. A life refined by time. Today, Denzel Washington measures success less by achievement and more by alignment. His pace has slowed, not from decline, but from awareness. Health, time, and stillness carry greater value. He chooses work selectively, drawn to stories with meaning rather than momentum. His life reflects function over display, purpose over possession. Giving is generous and often unseen. Aging, he has said, is not weakness, it is clarity. His journey stands as proof that greatness does not require excess, and leadership does not require noise. From a boy sent away to be saved to a man who quietly lifts others, his story offers reflection rather than spectacle. It reminds us that integrity practiced daily becomes legacy, and that strength guided by principle can rise without abandoning compassion. Denzel Washington's life does not ask for applause. It offers something rarer: example, restraint, and enduring conviction.